Hey guys, what's up? It's Alex or Nuznuz here, and welcome to another video. I hope you guys are having a great day today. Today's video is going to touch on a topic that I found really interesting, and that's about the RuneScape's current market and what exactly is happening in it recently. So during the year of 2021, the market moved a lot. We had a ton of items spike up in price, double, triple in price, or even more. We also had a lot of stuff plummet in price. We've had a very shifting economy, and today we're going to look at some of the ups and downs, some of the items, and also dive a bit deeper at the market and see what exactly could have caused this. Now, quick disclaimer, I'm no market expert or economist, but I thought it would be an interesting and fun topic to touch on, so let's get into it. So first, we're going to look at some items that have actually increased or decreased over the past year and look at some of the reasons why before going into kind of a bigger reason that I want to touch on. So first, let's look at magic items. Yes, magic items have increased very much over the past year. I'm sure you're all aware. Now, the biggest reason for this is mostly obvious, but it's really interesting to look back at some of the prices. The biggest increase actually was to dual wield weapons. This is partly because the release of something like Greater Concentrated Blast, which made dual wield just so good. Seismic Wands and Singularity increased from 250 mil for a set to almost 1.4 bill, which is just insane. Appraisal Wand and Imperium Core, as well, the tier 92 dual wield magic weapons, increased by a total of 2 bill or so in the year, which is also just crazy. I actually had a dual wield Seismic set, and I sold it for like 300 mil when I wanted to buy more range gear and when the meta was shifting towards range. So lesson learned, never sell your gear. That's something that I really enjoyed about old school RuneScape. Since there's no augments and stuff, I would sell my gear, buy it back all the time, and be able to like switch styles and gear depending on what I was doing. It's a bit harder in RuneScape, and it does have repercussions like this. We also had something like Elite Tectonic Armor go up by around 450 mil, and the rise in magic prices was a very slow build, and it was a culmination of updates meant to revive Mage. We had new spells released before Elder God Wars that allowed things like Tsunami to be used with less adrenaline. We had Animate Dead, which really, changed the way tank armor worked. We had the Fractured Staff of Armadillo, we had Greater Concentrated Blast, we had Crypt Bloom Armor. All of this just slowly but surely set into motion a shift in the meta into Mage. I remember like 8 months ago, everyone hated Mage. Everybody said it was easily considered the worst style, and slowly but surely Jagex actually did make it into the powerhouse that it is today, 8 to 10 short months later. The Channeler's Ring, I actually made a video about this 8 months ago when it was released to test it out, and I think I paid like 20 mil for the ring in that video. Now it's going for almost 150 mil, which is a huge increase. Greater Concentrated Blast as well also slowly rose up, although not as much as the others, probably just because of how common it is. And then we have the Armadillo Battle Staff. No, not the tier 95 Fractured Staff of Armadillo, the Armadillo Battle Staff from Glaciers. It went from 10 mil and being obsolete as an item to over 200 mil because of its synergy with the Fractured Staff of Armadillo if you put it in an Essence of Finality. So this isn't really a mistake that mage items have gone up so much. The meta shifted through updates over the past year, and if the meta shifted to mage, then one style must have suffered, right? And that brings us to melee. While ranged has remained steady and seen a steady increase since Greater Ricochet came out with Raksha, melee has been a bit different. For melee, the style has become a topic of debate as it's decreased a lot in price and usability, at least some of the items. It's not as extreme though as you might have thought. Not every melee item has crashed into oblivion, but a lot of them have dropped quite a bit, but some of them actually have reasons for them. So for instance, Kopesh's saw a massive drop of around 800 mil for the set. This happened shortly after the Arch Glacier was released. This released the new tier 95 dual wield weapons from the Glacier, and they've been steadily around 2 billion GP for the set, sometimes even dipping a bit lower. It would only make sense that Kopesh's would drop, and paying 80 mil for Drygores at tier 90 and then going straight to tier 95 seems like a much better option than making the marginal upgrade to Kopesh's, which is sort of why they dropped. ZGS dropped a good bit too, and melee is still much less powerful in today's meta in terms of like adrenaline gain and usability, as Mage got this huge buff and range has been very good, so Melee just kind of seemed to get left in the dust while the other styles have kind of, risen to kind of a new meta with adrenaline gain and, synergies and stuff like that, synergies with the EOF. But I guess there's always got to be a last place in the combat triangle. We will hopefully see what the future holds for Melee. But what about other items? As some of you have pointed out in some of my recent videos, everything seems to just be going up, and it doesn't seem to just be as simple as, oh yeah, it's just inflation, inflation that naturally happens. There's actually a reasoning, I feel, behind this, and it's pretty interesting. But first, we're going to take a look at some of these items that have actually increased, and these aren't part of a particular style. So these are the items, and this is calculated from the last 3 months. This isn't over the full course of the year. This is just the last 3 months. So these items aren't like a Zera's Godsword or something particularly to a style. These are more general items. So we have the Cinderbane gloves increased by 91% over the past 3 or so months. They got all the way up to 128 mil each, which is crazy. And then we have the Limitless Sigil, which the Limitless Sigil went from around 400 mil to create it all the way up to 600 mil. So a big increase there. That could be because less people are doing the Magister because it's not as good of money, well, in terms of the Kopeshes, and that's where a lot of Vital Sparks came from, so that one maybe can be explained a bit. Then we have Essence of Finality and Amulet of Souls. So the Essence of Finality went up 46% in the past 3 months, which is another PVM item that's, one of the most popular, general type PVM items, no matter what style you're using. And then the Amulet of Souls went up 34% as well. And then something like the Rise of the Six Kite Shields, the Merciless Kite Shield went up 38%, and the other Kite Shields went up as well. I remember these being like 15 mil each, and now most of them are like 30-40 mil, which is a big increase. And then the Praisal Codex has gone up around 11% in the past 3 months too. So these aren't based on any updates. You could say the Essence of Finality maybe, because people need more Essence of Finalities to put new stuff in from the Elder God Wars, but most of these are items that are just general to PVM. And if you look up basically any item, most of them, if they're PVM related, the past 3 months, it's been a spike up. So why is this? Why has the past 3 months everything has gone up much more dramatically than it did before? Well, one answer: the Golden Party Hat. The Golden Party Hat was released around November and gave people the opportunity to do tasks like skilling, bossing, AFK tasks to own a tradable discontinued item that would never come back, the Golden Party Hat. But what did this do to the game? Well, unlike bosses that are released, the Golden Party Hat didn't really have a skill ceiling at all, and it had bad luck protection too, so it wasn't something that was RNG based. If you skilled or did enough tasks, you would eventually get your Golden Party Hat, which is not a bad thing, by the way. I'm really happy that so many people got to experience getting their own Party Hat. But for something like a boss release, sure, it's going to make a lot of people a ton of money, but that money gained has kind of a gap, as not everyone's going to be soloing Raksha on release day, including myself, for potentially getting a greater ricochet or something like that. But for the Golden Party Hat, essentially anyone could get this Party Hat, and a lot of people did get and sell this Party Hat. This injected a ton of wealth to a ton of people. Basically, the Golden Party Hat is the stimulus check of RuneScape. Most people got this and are now looking for a way to spend their money. This is a big part of the reason why items like Cinderbanes, Amulet of Souls, Limitless, all these upgrades that are for people getting into PVM are going up. Not only did the Golden Party Hat give almost anyone who played RuneScape from the month of November to December a free 500 mil, it also gave some people far more, because it was so easy to create alternative accounts after alternative accounts and farm more and more Golden Party Hats. The Golden Party Hat essentially rebalanced a lot of the economy. So the wealth for the Golden Party Hats wasn't just created out of thin air, it was redistributed to other people. The Golden Party Hat essentially rebalanced a lot of the economy. A lot of the rich players or merchers were either keeping their party hats for themselves, since they didn't benefit that much from selling them for 500 mil, or they would buy up a ton of them and try to hoard them for a future investment. So when merchers bought these up and people that wanted to invest in this party hat bought up all these party hats, the wealth was redistributed back to the average player that was selling their party hat to make some money. But not only did the golden party hat do this, we then very shortly after got the green Santa hat release, which was way more RNG based. So unlike the golden party hat, this probably didn't have as big of an effect, but it did make a lot of lucky players rich. This is one of the reasons if you go to buy Cinderbanes or some other item and you remember them being like 50 mil like I did, and then you put in an offer and are like, wow, when did those double or even triple in price? Well, this is one of the reasons for such a huge price increase the last few months. That, by the way, happened to me like 5 times this past month. I've looked up an item to buy and was absolutely shocked at it increasing in price so much. But yeah, the economy is absolutely wild the past few months. A lot of things have gone up, which has gave a lot of opportunity for people to go and, PVM and make more money. Doing like normal glacers I made a video on can make you some really good money because the Armadillo Battle Staff and, Cinderbane gloves are now like 120 mil. So there's a lot more opportunity too. But I did think this was an interesting video as I make market videos in the past. And I kind of find it interesting, like when the Arch Glacier was released, how it, crashed a bunch of drops. I always find this stuff interesting. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit the like button. It really helps get the video out there to more people. I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you're all doing well, and I will see you all in the next video.